people into the from the waiting room into our Zoom room. Hello, hello. Welcome. Oh, Emily, get in here. We got the weird camera, everybody. Welcome in. It's Wednesday, July 8th. It's another time to get together for Life Amplified, brought to you by Amputee Aid. I'm calling this our Tiny Desk series, okay? If you don't know what that is, Google it, okay? Lots of your favorite musicians have been on the Tiny Desk series, and we're trying to make ourselves feel better about the fact that our studio is not in operation right now. So this is our Tiny Desk series. What do you think, Emily? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that's what we're calling it. So welcome to Jennifer's office / the credenza of our office, because we're not even really sitting on my desk. We're sitting on a bookshelf. Welcome everybody in, and thank you for joining us. So it is Wednesday. It is 2:00 Eastern time on Zoom and TikTok. Hi, TikTok friends. And we are getting together for Life Amplified. For our returning guests, welcome. For our new guests, welcome to you too. We like to get together every Wednesday at 2:00 to share information, educate each other, support each other, whether you are someone in the limb loss or limb difference community, an ally of the community, a supporter, a donor, a healthcare provider, all are welcome to this space. This is our weekly webinar. Now we've got a special guest, Carrie, who's not at our tiny desk. We thought it was too tiny for that. So Carrie is zooming in from work. Hi, Carrie. Nice to meet you. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
We're good. We are very good. So hang out because we've got some introductory things that we'd like to do for Life Amplified. And then we're going to start talking to Carrie. Y'all, this is a big one. Okay. So this is week 2 of our Hot Topics series for the summer for Life Amplified. And another hot topic last week being intimacy. Another hot topic, though, that we have a lot of requests for is nutrition. So finally, we are bringing that topic, and that's why Carrie is here. For those of you who are new to us, hi, we like to start out knowing where you are from and what the weather was like in your area. So Jennifer and Emily are trying to man the chat along with Nick, who's in his office, and Lucho, who is behind the screen. So we're all going to do our best to try to follow the chat, but give us some grace, okay? Because we can only do one thing at a time really well, maybe. And I am not computer literate, so we're going to do our best, but I'll check the chat. Put in the chat where you are coming to us from, how the weather is in your area. And in honor of this day being all about nutrition, we would love to know, what is your favorite healthy snack, okay? Healthy snack. Don't anybody put Taco Bell in there, as much as we love Taco Bell. Not healthy, okay? Carrie will tell you all about that in a minute. Your favorite healthy snack. Emily, what's your favorite healthy snack?
I actually like celery.
Celery. Ooh.
Celery's good.
What about when you were a kid doing ants on a log with the peanut butter and the raisins on the
No
celery?
raisins, but I did do peanut butter.
Okay. Anybody else do ants on a log when you're little? Fort Worth, Texas is in the house. Hot, 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 girl. Yes, absolutely. Indiana, cottage cheese and tuna or fruit. Okay. I love that. Crystal, yes. Okay. Crystal has had ants on a log. I'm not the crazy one here. San Antonio. Hey to our friends in San Antonio. Good to see you. 95 and humid. 95 in San Antonio was cool. That's a winter day for all of you down there.
Yeah.
Iowa. Good to see you there. We often have people from Chicago. So, apples and peanut butter. Yeah. Okay. I know we got Chicago. We also have our West Coasters in the house too. Nice to see all of you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Now, we also, hi, Bree from Vegas. Hello. 83 and partly sunny in Indiana. Okay. It's like 80s here in Pittsburgh. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 50 in our office, but outside it feels pretty good. All right. So thank you all for indulging us in that. And you're free to continue chatting, asking questions in the chat. You can also, it's 86. Okay. The good thing about being in a small office, we can just pull up our phones. You're free to ask questions as we go along in the chat, or just unmute yourself. Emily's going to talk to us in a moment about our webinar policies. But before we get there, I promised that all summer long, we would do giveaways. Now, Carrie, I'm going to say up front, I don't know if this is healthy or not, okay? The package tells me it's healthy. I don't know if that's correct, all right? But we are going to do a giveaway for our hot topics, and we are going to give away another one of our Purity Coffee donations. It says Flow, medium roast to promote overall health. I don't know if our nutritionist would agree with this, but anyway, but it says healthy, all right? And so we tried to weave it into the theme. And so we will do a giveaway. Now, for our friends on TikTok, if you want to be involved in this giveaway, you've got to get onto Zoom. Go over to the Zoom screen. You'll see the code on our page. For all of our friends here on Zoom, Emily, I'm going to get you sticky notes, okay? Another good thing is at our desk. Emily is going to take down all the names of the people who are attending during Zoom. You've got to be here to the end. So please stay till 3 o'clock Eastern time, and we will get your name and we will put it into our makeshift socket. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Jennifer's got to turn around at her desk and get her socket out. Our pen holder socket. We're going to put your names in here. Okay. And then we will draw the name of our winner at the end. So you've got to be here to the end. If you have joined us since we got started, hi, welcome to you. We know some people join us from other groups. Maybe they're getting a break at work or sneaking in a break. Welcome in, welcome in. Tell us in the chat where you're coming to us from, what the weather's like, and what your favorite healthy food is. Don't anybody put any fast food in there, okay? Hi to our friends in Roscoe, Illinois. Cinnamon and almond butter biscuits. Ooh, Nature Valley Ranch on your veggies. Love all of this stuff. Y'all are making me hungry. In hindsight, Greek yogurt and frozen fruit from our friends down in Texas. I'm wondering now that I asked this question and it is still lunchtime, if that was a good idea. Is anybody hungry? Let me see some emojis. Is anybody hungry yet? I'm getting hungry. Yes. Okay. Well, wait to the end because Carrie's going to give you all of the tips and things you need to know about nutrition for amputees. Carrie, before we get to you, Emily, you've got some reminders for our webinars.
Yes. So just be aware that we are recording and this is going to go onto our YouTube channel. So if you're someone that doesn't want your voice on the internet, just know that if you do come off mute, it will be recorded. So if you don't want your voice on the internet, then just go ahead and put your comment or your question in the chat and we'll get to that. Also, this is a safe space. Please be respectful to one another, don't talk over each other, but do interrupt us if you want to. We actually encourage that.
Yes, we do. We don't have any trouble interrupting each other or you. So this is a space where we can all talk and engage, and it's fun. It's fun that way. Okay, so please engage with us. So to all of our friends joining us later, hi everybody. We're doing a giveaway for some healthy coffee. We are told we do love our friends at Purity though, but stick around. You got to be to the end of this session, and you've got to be here on Zoom. So as we're getting settled in to talk to Carrie about nutrition, I want to say that this has been a topic that has been often requested at our webinars, but also by many of our clients. We know for everybody, nutrition is important. Having a healthy body, making sure that you are taking care of your mind, that brain-body connection, also being aware of foods that are good for you, foods that are bad for you, foods that you can intake based on your goals in life. But we also know for our friends in the limb loss or limb difference community, nutrition is all the more important. Whether you are somebody who is living with diabetes, like my grandmother was, and you have specific diets you have to follow, or you are someone who wants to be mindful of foods that can increase your water retention, that can affect your limb health, that can help or not help with your muscle volume or your goals of becoming more muscular or your ability to work out. So we are going to be having that conversation today. However, if I put my executive director hat on for a moment, I want to remind all of you that the best advice you can get is from your healthcare providers and your team in your state who are dealing with you. What Carrie is going to tell us today is all very, very important. And we want you to listen to everything that she has to say. But please, nobody call me tomorrow or call Carrie tomorrow and say, Carrie, my nutritionist said I should do X, Y, and Z. This is not going to replace healthcare advice, right, Carrie? We're giving general information, but we want people to talk to their actual providers, right?
Yeah, of course. Just because everybody's needs are different.
Exactly. Everybody's needs are different. So before we turn over to you, Carrie, Emily, tell us a little bit more about who Carrie is.
So it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Carrie from UFC Gym, Pittsburgh. She's knowledgeable about nutrition and she's passionate about helping people build healthier lifestyles through practical, sustainable nutrition. She works with individuals at all stages of their health and fitness journey, providing guidance that supports performance, overall wellness, and long-term success. She will be sharing valuable information about nutrition, healthy habits, and simple strategies you can use to fuel your body and reach your personal goals.
Yay. Welcome, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
topic has been long requested. I love seeing the emojis go up. Carrie is located here in the Pittsburgh area. We would love for you all to listen to everything that she has to say. If you are looking for somebody in your area who can give you specific advice based on your healthcare needs and your unique needs, keep in mind that is a service that Amputee Aid can provide. We are a 501c3 nonprofit located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but serving folks all over the country. And one of the many services we provide is resources and referrals. So we can help you find someone in your area if what we say to you, and I hope it is for all of you, if it resonates, it makes you want to learn more, let us know so we can find somebody in your area if you're not here directly and can't talk to Carrie. Okay, now that we said all that, Carrie, the floor is yours, and I'm going to do my best because Carrie's created a beautiful presentation for us. Everybody pray that this works. Pray to whomever or whatever or nothing at all, Mother Earth in the sky if you have to, because Director Jennifer is the one who's going to be sharing the slides. So give me some grace here. Carrie, is it okay if I get the slides going up while you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so as I'm doing that, tell us a little bit more about you.
I was born and raised in Gastonia, North Carolina. Lived in El Paso, Texas the past couple years as my girlfriend went to school, but we moved to Pittsburgh last year, actually, at the same time.
Okay.
But currently work at UFC Gym, doing some sales while also teaching kickboxing. So
Oh, very cool. So you are in good company with your Pittsburghers and also your Yinzers. Sorry to all of my Pittsburgh friends. We say Yinzers up here. And also all of our friends down in Texas. We got lots of Texas people joining us today. Okay, so you know what I meant when I said 95 or 85. That's a winter day for people in Texas, right? So Carrie, can everybody see my screen? Do we see a slide that says nutrition for health, recovery, and rehabilitation? I see some emojis going up. Okay, wonderful. Now, when we tested this presentation, because it's so beautiful, it is a little bit of a larger file size. And so sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. Don't panic, everybody. The slides will move, okay? But if you don't see them right away, it's okay. Not only will they get to you during the presentation, but Carrie has given us permission to share this as well as a commonly asked question sheet with everybody after our presentation. Okay, so you are going to get this information. You'll have it. You'll be able to reference it. All right. So Carrie, the floor is yours. Go ahead and get started.
yes, so I appreciate you guys for having me. It's really cool. I've never been on a podcast before, really anything. And I hope you guys can understand my accent because I know it's super thick.
We love it. And yes, we can understand you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So my name is Carrie. I just want to go over with you guys. I know nutrition is like something y'all have been wanting to hear about. And I know a lot of people overcomplicate it, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible today. That way, with our learning objectives, we'll be able to understand the fundamentals of healthy nutrition and explain the role of protein in health and recovery, while also identifying foods that support wound and bone healing. We're also going to go over how to understand nutrition considerations after amputation and how nutrition does change after amputation. And we're also going to go over fueling exercise and rehabilitation. We're going to do before and after exercise as well. And we're also going to recognize nutritional needs for diabetes management.
Cool.
All right. So now we're going to go into the big topic of why does it even matter? Well, nutrition does a lot for our body. As you can see, I just picked 6 little points of reference just because nutrition does way more than this. But to top it off, we have carbohydrates, fats, and proteins that help fuel your body for daily activities, from running to breathing. So it provides a lot of energy for us while also supporting our growth and repair. So we have proteins, vitamins, and minerals that help build and maintain muscle, along with bones, skin, and organs. Another great thing about nutrition is that it strengthens the immune system. So we have our nutrients like vitamin C, D, zinc, and protein that help the body fight off infections. Nutrition also helps promote brain function, which is a balanced diet will help support the concentration, memory, learning, and mood. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. And then we have why nutrition will help reduce the disease risk. It can help eating healthy can help lower the risk of conditions such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and some cancers, which is actually really cool. And then it also improves the overall quality of health and life because the proper nutrition can boost energy levels, support better sleep, and enhance overall well-being. So nutrition is one of the few factors that people can contribute after amputation. It's one of the things we are in control of. So we just have to take it serious, especially after something like a surgery, an amputation, injury, because it's all going to tie into how we recover. I'll put on my glasses. It's a little small. But a weird fact about me is I used to be in the Navy, and all sailors are trained as firefighters. And so how I like to compare fitness is to like with the fire triangle, because with the fire triangle you have the three elements of fuel, heat, and oxygen. If you were to remove one of those elements, the fire goes out. It cannot continue to burn. It's the same principle applies to the fitness triangle, where we have exercise, nutrition, and mental wellness. Exercise being giving us strength, nutrition gives us the fuel for ourselves, and then mental well-being also gives us that motivation and resilience to keep going. And so when one of those is removed, the system's just not as effective. So we want to keep all three elements in order to have success in our fitness triangle, so to speak. But
I love this. Carrie, can I pause you just there for a minute?
absolutely.
I love seeing the fitness triangle, seeing mental health on there. You all know we are big on mental health here as well as physical health. And I love seeing that kind of that tripart connection there. Your nutrition, your exercise, and your mental health, those are all essential to your well-being. You don't want to sacrifice any one of them, certainly not more than one. And I love seeing that mental is on there right with nutrition. We love that. We love that. Okay. All right. Next slide. Is that okay, Carrie?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Hold on here. I touched it. Okay. Is that, wait, hold on. Nobody look. Okay. There we go. Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure everybody here has heard of somebody saying, oh, you got to count your macros. Well, this is like the bare basics of nutrition. We have 3 macronutrients. Macro means we need them in greater quantities. So we have carbohydrates, protein, and healthy fats. So with the carbohydrates, that is our body's main source of energy, while protein helps build and repair tissues and muscle. And then the healthy fats are responsible for hormone production, brain health, and reduces inflammation. And then we have our micronutrients, which we need in smaller quantities. And those help support hundreds of bodily functions like energy metabolism, immune system support, and brain health. And we can't forget about water because we're pretty much made of it. But hydration is very essential for all parts of life, for all bodily functions. So we just want to keep those in mind, but also keep in mind that all nutrients do work together. There's no single nutrient that's like, or people would refer to as like superfood, but there is no such thing as a superfood. Like everything, you have to have consistency and you got to have progress, but you just got to keep everything balanced, because without balance, everything falls apart. And now we're going to go about building a balanced plate. So when we want to have our meals in front of us, just like this little pie chart here, we want to have half of it at least filled with vegetables. And then the quarter is going to be carbohydrates, kind of like brown rice, quinoa, any complex carbohydrate. And then the other quarter will be a lean protein, which can be pretty much chicken, tofu, fish, whatever you want it to be, as long as you're getting that protein, those carbohydrates, and the vegetables that your body needs for energy and strength. That combination is also going to help you stay fuller longer, support brain function. It's going to stabilize your blood sugar levels. And it is also good to add in a healthy fat like nuts or avocado oil. Can never go wrong with it. And then a really thing I like to encourage people to do is keeping a food journal, just because as you keep a food journal, you're recording everything you're eating. So over time, you can go back and look and be like, oh, I'm eating not enough vegetables here, or I'm not drinking enough water. That way, it's easy to kind of like spot these differences and be able to fix them. Or you can even start off with something easy like, I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water today, or I'm going to start incorporating vegetables into my meal each day. It don't have to be something huge. It can just be small steps, A path was not laid out at once. It was pebble by pebble. So it's just taking those baby steps and you will get there. It just takes a lot of practice sometimes because, man, we have too many delicious foods out now.
Yeah, I love this idea, Carrie. If I could pause just for a moment
Yeah.
of for people who like to have the checklists, right? They like to make the check. I did the thing. Even if it's just a sticky note on your bathroom mirror. I drank 8 glasses of water or whatever the recommendation is for you. You could start that way, right? That's an easy way to start incorporating more mindful eating and more nutrition-based eating into your day. Make yourself a checklist. Then you feel good. If you're a gold star seeking kind of person, I got my gold star for the day because I did the thing. I have a question for you, Carrie, on the pie chart. Could you literally like take your plate, your dinner plate, and eyeball it? Like half my dinner plate is vegetables, a quarter of it is rice, and a quarter of it is meat. Like, could you do that as a way of estimating whether you've got your 50% veggies, 25% carbs, and 25% protein? Or is it more complicated than that?
Not really. That's for people overcomplicate it. You can literally do that. Or after this ends, I have a few resources of like it tells you like a fistful or like 2 fingers, like good ways to portion things out.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna get more resources. Like I said, everyone,
Oh yeah, I got a bunch.
Carrie has given us a lot of resources, and you'll get them in an email. But then, Gregory, I saw you had your emoji hand up. Which go ahead and ask any questions.
Yes. In relation to what you just mentioned about the amount of each portions of the protein, carbs, and vegetables, and all of that thing, all of that stuff, Carrie, what do you think about, or your thoughts on getting a metabolic test from like a nutritionist that determines the particular metabolic rate that our bodies metabolizes each of those proteins or carbohydrates and or starches and sugars? What's your thoughts on metabolic testing through a nutritionist to determine which of those foods, so that if we can get 75% of vegetables or 25% of protein, or kind of in relation to what Jennifer was saying, because I think we all have different metabolic rates of metabolism. So we're not getting, kind of find me so I don't keep rambling. Do you follow
That's
me
a
a little
great
bit?
question. Yeah, I think it's a great question, Carrie. Your thoughts on getting those tests done to see kind of where your specific body is, how it metabolizes certain foods, and maybe if the needs are a little bit different than kind of the quote average. I think that's what
And
you're
I know
asking,
they're
right,
not cheap
Gregory?
tests.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you to get it. Like if you have the resources to get it, it can't hurt. There's also ways to determine your metabolic rate through this. I can send it to Emily and Jennifer. It's like an equation where you put in like age, weight. It's a really long equation, but it's very simple. I promise you. It's just plugging in the numbers and having like, I got you. I can send it over that way.
Yeah.
It's easy to like do it yourself, but sometimes I feel like the test is going to be more accurate. Just
Yeah.
because.
So when in doubt, always talk to your specific healthcare provider. But Carrie, I think having a formula to start out and kind of get a baseline assessment is not a bad idea. So we'd love that. Send that over. We'll send it out, everyone, with our recording and our resources on Friday. Then, Gregory, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I saw Mr. Robocop leg, Clarence. You had your emoji hand up as well. Did you have a question?
Yes.
Hi.
This is how you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Jennifer and everybody. I'm great. I'm great.
Good.
My question is for those who may have a blood clot disorder, the K vitamins, the greens and things of that nature. What do you suggest substitute for that?
Great.
Like if you don't like the vegetables, is that what you're
No.
asking?
With blood clot disorder, you have to be mindful of your K vitamin intake, which are your greens, the green beans, and things of that nature. So you have to be mindful on how much you eat as far as the greens. Yeah, the K vitamin intake, because that it affects your blood flow.
That's a good question. I would have to research that one a bit more and get like back to you about it. But I know water is also really good for getting oxygen and stuff to the blood along with iron or zinc, but I can look more into that.
Yeah. If you don't mind, Carrie, we can share those answers. Any questions that we can't answer fully during the webinar, we'll send out a commonly asked questions and some links to resources as well, Clarence, so we can give you more specific information. You know, like I said, I'm going to put my director hat on for a minute, talk to your healthcare provider as well. But yeah, Carrie, if you don't mind, and we'll take a note of that on our side too. I also saw Cheryl's question in the chat. What if I don't like veggies? Girl, eat them anyway. That's my answer to that one. Get yourself a healthy seasoning. Plug your nose if you have to, because those are essential. Okay.
No.
Sorry, Cheryl.
Use ranch dressing.
Yeah, I'll answer that question. Yeah, and if you do use a seasoning, it shouldn't be all ranch dressing and one carrot. That does not count. Okay. Carrie, let's continue on here. I'm going to go to the next slide for us. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Oh man, this is like, I heard y'all's biggest question. It's like
Protein. It's everywhere.
What is protein? So protein is one of the essential macronutrients for building, maintaining, and repairing tissues. It's made up of amino acids, which are the building blocks of the body. So we do have 20 amino acids that we need. 11 of those are essential, which means we can metabolize them in the body, but we still do get them here and there from protein. But we have 9 that are essential that we need. Sorry about that, got them mixed up. But yeah, we have 9 essential ones that we can't metabolize in the body, so we have to get them through foods. And then we do have one called leucine, which is the most important amino acid in terms of protein because it is what initiates protein or muscle protein synthesis, which is the process and by which the body builds new muscle proteins to repair, maintain, and grow new muscles. So a lot of people don't know is like, as we're sitting here right now, the body is constantly breaking down and repairing proteins. So if we don't have enough leucine, we're going to lose muscle because it's breaking down faster than how we can repair it. Kind of like similar to osteoporosis, how the old bone is breaking down before it's forming new ones. But protein is very important. It does a lot of different things. It helps build and repair muscles while also supporting growth and development. It also helps produce enzymes and hormones. And it does strengthen the immune system while also maintaining healthy skin, hair, nail, and organs. It is probably one of the most important macronutrients, I would say, other than carbohydrates, just because without energy, we're not going to be able to do anything.
Okay, good. I see some hands up, so let's take some questions. Jeff, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Van Gregory. Hi, Jeff.
Sure. Hi. I apologize for being late. I just get tied up on something else. It just so happens that in my issue of AARP that I just got today, there is an article on Healthy You, aging in your protein intake and what that looks like. So if anybody gets the AARP magazine, be sure to read it. It's a great article. It just adds to what Carrie's saying.
I'm going to make a note and see if I can find the web version of that to send out with our recording and link with our.
That'd be great.
AARP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I could take a picture of it and
yeah. Hopefully AARP is not watching this, and so yeah,
I know.
Send it to me. I don't think, as much as I would love us to be YouTube famous, I don't think AARP is watching this video. Okay, so yeah, if you don't mind sending it.
Copyright infringement. Yeah.
We know nothing. We know nothing. Okay. Send it over to me. I'd love to share that with everyone. Very timely. And if you don't have to out yourself and tell us if you do or do not reach the age to get the AARP magazine, but if you happen, or if somebody in your home happens to have it, now you got a great resource. Thank you for sharing that, Jeff. And Gregory, do you have a question?
Yes, real quick. Is there a major difference in the type of enzymes that we receive from plant protein versus animal protein? And is there something in particular that we need to be intaking as to help absorb those enzymes into our system?
Great. I was thinking the same thing for our vegetarians who maybe don't eat meat. What do you suggest for protein, Carrie?
Yeah, so there is like a slight difference between animal protein and plant protein. So with the animal protein, it's technically called a complete protein because it has all of the amino acids that we need, while vegetarians are more of an incomplete, which means they just have to consume different types of vegetables to get all those amino acids. That's like the only real difference between them is one's incomplete and the other one's complete. But as long as you combine different foods in like the vegetable area, like legumes, beans, you will be able to get all the essential nutrients.
Got it. So instead of
But
having all the pieces of the puzzle, as you so to speak, that you would in a meat-based protein, for a vegetable or vegetarian-based protein, you're going to get different pieces from different pieces of that puzzle from different food sources. Is that a way of thinking about it?
yeah, that's exactly how it's kind of cool how it works. But at least it's still like beneficial because either side can both get their proteins and amino acids, or yeah, their amino acids, which is neat. I like that.
Okay,
It's a good question.
great question. Any other questions about this slide before we go to the next one, anyone? Okay, it's okay if I go to the next slide, Carrie?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I got to touch it. Everybody wait. There we go. Protein. Why is it so popular? Yes. Okay. Before you start, I'm going to take over again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every day we see stuff in the grocery store, at the gas station now, protein Doritos. Sorry, Doritos, if they're watching us, they're probably not, but everywhere you go, it seems like proteins in all your cereals, all the stuff. I'm surprised it's not in your toothpaste yet. It might be. Everywhere you go. Okay, so why is it so popular, Carrie?
Well, for one, I think they're profiting off of it just because of like all the benefits of protein. So, but there's nothing actual like real protein than some of this, what do you want to call it, manufactured protein like we see in the protein bars or the protein Doritos, which I didn't know they had. I just now discovered they had protein mac and cheese,
Yes.
which is crazy. But yeah, when it comes to protein, it has so many benefits for the body, like for building muscle. Like every time we exercise, we're creating tears in the muscle. And when we consume protein, this starts to repair the tears, making the muscle stronger and helping them grow, which is also known as hypertrophy. It's really good for repairing tissues and help replace cells throughout the body. So it helps maintain your muscle, your skin, organ, and other tissues healthy, which it's pretty cool because it does so much for us. And like you would never think that. And it also is really good for supporting wound healing. So it does help heal cuts and injuries, and it does help build new tissue that supports the immune system. So it kind of helps us in a way fight against infections as well. And as we age, we do lose muscle mass over time. So we're going to naturally lose that muscle. So when we eat enough protein, it's going to help maintain that strength and support healthy aging. So I believe it's in the next slide is when we're going to get into how much protein. And you will see that as you get older, we're going to require more protein as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I switched us over to the next slide so we could take another look at this. Screenshot, if everyone get your phones out, you can take some pictures if you choose. Or you will get a copy of the slide as well on Friday. But if you want to have this in your phone, now is the opportunity. So Carrie, tell us more about recommendations, especially as you get older.
Like how much protein?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, as you can see, so your protein is going to be based on age, activity level, and like your overall general health. So as you can see with the healthy adults, and I did convert it for you guys just because I know grams per kilogram is annoying. So I wanted to convert it to grams to pounds just because it's a lot easier to understand, especially if you do not like converting things like I do. I hate it. I don't like math. But so if you're a healthy adult, it's recommended about 0.36 grams per pound of body weight daily. But as you get older, it's going to go up because you're going to start losing muscle, which is known as sarcopenia. And so this is going to help you prevent that muscle loss and help maintain that strength as you get older. And as you can see where I have for athletes or anyone recovering from surgery and amputation, it's the same just because we need that support for our muscles to help things repair, recover, and it's also going to do performance. But after a surgery or amputation, your body is working a lot harder to repair that damaged tissue. And it's going to help you not only recover that strength, but it's also going to aid in that rehabilitation stage as well. But
Really interesting. I want to bring this out, especially for our folks who are maybe newer amputees or are scheduled for an amputation. Maybe you've had a limb revision surgery, wound care, something like that. Really important mental note to make that at that time when you are in recovery, you treat your body as if you are an athlete because your body is going through similar things, right? You're not running a marathon, but your body is basically running a marathon internally to repair and recover and heal. Is that the idea, Carrie?
essentially, yeah, because you're going through a lot of changes after losing a limb, but your body is fighting so much more because it has to deal with tissue repair. There's going to be muscle loss, and
Really,
like your protein needs are just going to increase overall, just because you have so much to catch up on.
really interesting. Cheryl, I saw you had your emoji hand up. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. When it comes to repairing muscle mass, muscle loss, or whatever, I'm on a GLP-1, and I've lost a lot of muscle mass. And how would you do that? Plus, I'm also a kidney I've had a kidney transplant, and I'm an amputee, so I have all these dietary things going on. So it's kind of difficult for me.
A great question.
And with the GLP-1, how do I repair some of this damage that's incurred? Do you know
Great
how I would do
question,
that?
Carrie. And of course, obviously, we would want you to talk to your healthcare provider, or we can.
Yeah. Oh, I do that, and it's eat protein, but then you don't want to eat too much protein. But is there a balance that you know of with exercise and dietary?
Yeah, great question, Carrie. What are your thoughts on that, especially for someone who's on the GLP-1
And doesn't eat vegetables.
Yeah, who doesn't eat vegetables, right? So even if no matter how much ranch is on.
I
not
eat
calling
green
you out,
beans.
Cheryl.
I eat green beans and avocado. I do eat avocado. I do eat green beans. Corn is not a vegetable.
So thoughts on that? So improving or increasing your protein intake, especially if you're on a GLP-1. But I think also more broadly, kind of the balance between intaking the protein, but also exercising to take the benefit of the protein. So you got it in you. Then what do you do with it? So comments, thoughts on that, Carrie?
Yeah, we do have a slide on supplements as well, but we do have something called creatine monohydrate, but there's whey protein as well. It's all protein derived from milk. It's kind of like in the cheese stage is when we get that, but that's actually a good supplement for protein because it's rich in leucine, and leucine, as a reminder, is the one that does kickstart the muscle protein synthesis. And if you don't like vegetables, you can also get those supplements. I would definitely do it with a healthcare provider because I don't know how much you need, but I usually tell people about the multivitamins, and if they have 100% each day of what you need, then that's usually the perfect way to go about it. But everybody's needs are different. So I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I would rather you talk to your
No,
healthcare
I
about.
listen, but I always talk to my healthcare provider first. I
Absolutely.
always listen.
Good point, though. Look at those supplements, but we're going to get to a slide about that in a minute. But also, really good call out that when you're talking about building muscle mass in particular, those proteins that have leucine. Leucine is what we're looking for, right? That's the Kickstarter. Okay, so go to the next slide, Carrie.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Is that the next one? I touched it again. Hopefully that was right.
According to my little packet here, it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, tell us more.
So why does protein matter for prosthetic use? Well, it has many benefits. It helps preserve that muscle mass. So after amputation, your muscles are going to be weak from surgery, inactivity, or reduced weight bearing. So the protein is going to help limit that muscle loss while also supporting strength gains. So rehabilitation and prosthetic training requires strengthening in the hips, core, and remaining limb muscle. And then we have aids tissue repair. The residual limb experiences pressure and friction from the prosthetic socket, so the protein supports ongoing tissue maintenance and healing. And then it's going to improve your mobility and function as well. So you'll have stronger muscles to help with balance, walking efficiently, transferring the weight, and just daily activities in general. And it's also going to support recovery from therapy because as physical therapy creates those small amounts of muscle damage that are repaired through protein-driven muscle remodeling, which is our muscle protein synthesis. So the strong muscles are going to help you use your prosthetics more effectively, and then the protein is going to provide the building blocks for those muscles.
Right. Let's talk about some bone health.
Yeah, I saw that y'all were interested in bone and wound health, which I thought was really cool because I never considered it, even though my dad had diabetes growing up. So he definitely would have needed the wound nutrition help.
Mm-hmm.
That man was prone. But we're going to get into it. So we have a few nutrients that do support bone recovery. Of course, we got our protein that provides the structural support that helps build and maintain that bone tissue and supports our muscle strength, which is also going to help prevent falls and fractures as well. And then we all know what calcium is. It's the main mineral that's found in bones and teeth, but it also helps keep our bones strong and helps reduce the risk of fractures as well. And and you always want to pair calcium with vitamin D because it helps the body absorb the calcium from the food. And without enough vitamin D, we're not going to be absorbing calcium as effectively. And then we do have vitamin K that helps produce proteins involved in bone formation. And then we have our magnesium, which helps the bone formation and supports vitamin D function. And then we have phosphorus so phosphorus is going to combine with calcium to form the mineral structure of the bone. And then we got our old good friend potassium, which will help reduce calcium loss from bones. And I have in the corner right here a few foods for bone health. There's milk and dairy, along with some salmon and sardines, and then our leafy greens. But you do want to limit alcohol or if you smoke, because that is going to affect bone density. And then you don't want to be on an extremely low calorie diet because you need as much energy as you can for that rehabilitation process. So and then you're just going to have no energy for anything. You'll have less protein. So nothing's going to work as effective as it should. And it'll prolong how long it takes you to heal.
Yeah, great points. For all of our lower extremity amputee friends, I want you to screenshot this slide, okay? We all know how important it is to take care of the health of your remaining biological limb. If you are a single lower extremity amputee, these are the things we're talking about, right? I saw, Ms. Tina, Lou, that you had your emoji hand up. Did you have a question? Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I do have
Good.
a question. It's about calorie intake. I'm an above knee amputee and I Google to try to figure out how many calories I should have, but I get different answers all the time. And I know my age and all that has a factor, but if you have any resources for that, I'm sure I would love it and probably a lot of people on here would.
Yeah, so we will, I'm not sure if we have a slide on it with this presentation, but we have talked about getting those resources and we will share them out with our recording on Friday and post them in the links with the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, look down below, so that we'll have that. But Carrie, do you have any initial opinions on, for someone who is an amputee, whether their calorie intake requirements are different? Does it depend on level of activity, other things?
Yeah, it does depend on the level of your activity, but it also depends on the level of amputation too, because whenever you lose that limb, you are going to require less calories, but that's after the fact. But when you're healing, you definitely need all the energy and calories you can get.
Yeah.
But I can see if there's they have so many formulas out here to calculate things. So I can see if I can find one. But usually if you get with a registered dietitian as well, they should be able to help determine that as well. Uh,
Great points. Yes, and of course, if you are a very active amputee, you're using your prosthetic device throughout the day, you're going to require more energy, which
Yeah.
is back to the point
Yeah.
about this is depends on your level of activity and what you're doing. But yeah, always talk to somebody in your area. But yes, any resources or formulas or things you can share with us to come kind of give us a baseline would be helpful.
oh, absolutely.
All right, let's go on to the next slide here. Okay, here we go. Nutrients that support wound healing. Another very common question that we get. Tell us more about this, Carrie.
Yeah, so we just have a few nutrients that are going to help us with our wound healing process. Um, as we all know, protein is going to probably be in every slide now because it is
Right.
very important because it's going to help you build that new tissue and it's going to help repair that skin and muscle while also helping make collagen for healing, which is also where vitamin C comes in because vitamin C helps the body make more collagen, which is a protein that gives skin and connective tissue its strength. And then we're going to have zinc, which helps support tissue growth, wound repair, and immune function. So it's also going to help fight off infections as well. And then water. Water is so underplayed. Water is so good for us because our adequate hydration is going to help transport those nutrients to the wound and supports the tissue repair as well. And then we have vitamin A, which helps support skin health and the immune response. Then we have good old iron. That's going to help carry oxygen to healing tissues throughout the blood as well. So you're going to need good nutrition for the wound healing because the body does require extra protein, vitamins, and minerals and energy to repair any damaged tissue, make new skin, prevent any infections, and it's overall going to help you recover quickly.
Great tips here. Thank you for that. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, tell us more.
Sorry, my foot fell asleep.
That's okay. Okay, so here we're going to talk about things that are specific for amputees. Okay, great. Tell us more about this information, Carrie.
Yeah, so when you become amputee, like, does your nutrition change? It's a yes and no kind of question because the fundamentals of good nutrition are going to change or not change too much, but there are going to be certain priorities that become more important, especially during the rehabilitation phase. So our goal is going to be maximizing our healing while maintaining muscle and improving rehabilitation outcomes. So there's a few considerations for amputees, like we're going to increase our focus on protein because that's going to support the wound healing and tissue repair while also helping preserve and rebuild any muscle mass. And it's going to be important for our strength, mobility, and prosthetic use. And then we're going to have our adequate energy intake. So we want to avoid undereating during recovery and rehabilitation because, like we said before, we're going to need that extra energy and calories to help repair just because our body is going to be burning through it. So our energy needs are also going to be based on our activity level, the rehabilitation intensity, and the level of amputation as well. And then we have a few vitamins and minerals that are going to help support our healing, like vitamin C for that collagen formation and wound healing, the zinc for the tissue repair and immune function. And iron is very important, especially if there was any blood loss occurred during the surgery. And then vitamin A is going to help support that skin and immune health. And for our bone health, we want calcium and vitamin D. They're kind of like a combo package. Like you can't have one without the other because that's going to help us maintain our bone strength and help reduce the risk of osteoporosis. And healthy weight management is another thing. Maintaining a healthy body weight can improve comfort, mobility, and prosthetic fit as well. And then our best friend, water. We always want to be hydrated because that's going to support our physical performance, our blood circulation, and our overall recovery.
Good points. Thank you for that. Okay, let's take a look at our next slide. Ooh, nutrition after amputation. Okay, so tell us more.
I had to flip my page. It's like hard to read it on there. Yeah. So after amputation, it's going to slightly change how we were talking about. We're going to definitely want to increase our protein, our energy, and our hydration because our long-term goal is going to be maintaining that healthy body weight. We're going to preserve our muscle strength and function while also supporting mobility and prosthetic use. And it's also going to promote heart and bone health. So with our three key nutrition priorities, we want to definitely focus on our protein intake for that tissue repair and muscle maintenance. Some pretty good sources are eggs, fish, chicken, dairy, beans, tofu, and nuts. And then for our energy, we need to increase our energy needs are going to increase during healing. An adequate intake prevents muscle loss that supports recovery. And our hydration is going to support circulation and healing, but it's also going to help prevent fatigue and constipation. And then our nutrients are kind of like staying the same with our vitamin C, A, zinc, iron, and our vitamin D and calcium. But we do have some like special considerations. There is going to be blood sugar control, which is going to be crucial for those with diabetes, as well as referring to a registered dietitian for individualized nutrition support, just because everybody is different and their nutritional needs are going to be a little different as well.
Great point. Y'all, nobody has to answer this question out loud, but I just want you to mentally answer. How many of you seriously thought about your nutrition intake immediately after your surgery? And how many of you went for the comfort food? So maybe you can tell your friends if you're mentoring anyone, or if you're hopefully now, but if you ever find yourself back in the hospital, key things to keep in mind. Please save this slide. All right, let's go on. Supplements. Okay, Miss Cheryl, we're going back to you. So Carrie, you had mentioned supplements a little bit ago. We were talking about, how to improve protein intake. Tell us more about supplements.
Yeah, so definitely supplements recommendations are going to be individualized. Man, I cannot talk. Someone with too many eyes just doesn't work for me. And based on clinical assessment. So referring to your healthcare provider, your dietitian, it's all going to be different. But a good thing to keep in mind is supplements should be complement, but not replacement for a balanced diet. They are going to vary based on medical history, medications, kidney functions, and nutritional status as well. And you also just want to consult your health care provider, registered dietitian before starting any supplements, just to be on the safe side. But we have these are like potentially helpful. So protein, we were talking about earlier, we have the protein supplements. There's whey, casein, or plant-based protein powders. They're a convenient way to meet your protein goals when the appetite is low, or you just don't like meat, or if you just don't feel like eating. But you can also help. They're also going to help stimulate muscle protein synthesis. But what's really good about them is these supplements are really rich in leucine, and they are very well studied. So they are definitely recommended, especially if you could put it in a smoothie, you're golden. Especially like a peanut butter banana smoothie. So good.
Good idea. Okay, great. Tell us more.
Yeah, and then we have our essential amino acid supplements, which this is really good if you do not like meat as well and you have a hard time getting those amino acids. There are some that provide all 9 essential amino acids for that tissue repair. They're going to be good for people who struggle to consume enough food or protein in general. And then we have vitamin D, which does support our bone health, muscle function, and rehabilitation. Just keep in mind, a lot of vitamin D supplementation is often guided by blood test results. So next time you get blood work, you can have them go over your vitamin D count and see if it's good or not. That way they can tell you, but they're going to tell you regardless if you need more vitamin D, or at least I would hope they would.
Great thing to ask your doctor then when you go in for your physical or your next time you get your blood work, ask for that vitamin D readout.
And then we want our vitamin C, which is important for that collagen formation and wound healing. It's this one's going to be particularly relevant during the surgical and wound healing stage, just because it is important for the collagen formation. It's going to help with that tissue and skin repair. And then we have our multivitamin / mineral supplement. That's going to help fill any nutritional gaps when the food intake is inadequate or not enough. I usually would choose a supplement that provides about 100% of daily value for most vitamins and minerals. That way you don't have to really like overthink it because you know it's going to have all of them. But I would, of course, check with your healthcare provider because you might need more than what's recommended on those bottles. And then we have our omega-3 fatty acids, which is found mostly in fish oil supplements. And they're going to support overall health and help preserve muscle during our recovery. But they're really cool because they help reduce inflammation, which is going to help support that recovery and healing as well.
Now, question for you, Carrie, on supplements. And I know, y'all, we're coming to the end of our time together. Stick around. We're going to go a little bit longer than our hour, but I promise you it's worth it. And I also want to make sure we answer any questions that you all have. But, you don't have to recommend any brands. I'm not asking you to do that because please nobody sue us. But does it matter if you get your supplements from like the vitamin store, the supplement store, or if you pick them up from the grocery store? Does it matter?
Not really, as long as they're rich in leucine, but I would definitely look at the reviews as well because some people care about their flavor a lot, and I understand. I would also just do the research to see how people's also benefited from it, but there's some that are really expensive, but they do the same job as the one you would pick up from Walgreens or Walmart.
Okay. The
Yes.
HEB for our friends down in Texas, so you don't have to get them from a special store, but do your research, look at the reviews and see what other people have to say about their experience with them. Okay. All right. Tell us more about calcium.
Yeah, because I feel like calcium is going to be a big one. So our calcium matters because it's going to help build and protect the strong bones while also supporting muscle function, nerves, and blood clotting. If you need any supplements, there's usually two types. There's the calcium carbonate, which you have to take with food, and then calcium citrate, which is easier to absorb and it's also easier on the stomach and can be taken with or without food. We do have daily needs. So for people 19 to 50, it's about 1,000 milligrams a day. But women over 50 and men over 70, they want about 1,200 just because as we age, our absorption is going to decline over time. And women are more susceptible to it. Kind of like after you go through menopause, women are more susceptible to not having adequate calcium absorption. So it's important that they get more. So you can include the calcium from food or supplements, but it's best to get it from your food first just because supplements are never going to be able to give you the same. They just can't compare to whole foods compared to supplements. But if you need supplements, that's what they're there for. They're kind of like a fallback.
Yeah, they are what they say they are. They're to supplement the food you are eating, not to replace the food you're eating. Right, Carrie?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, you have some tips for us too. Tell us more about the tips for calcium.
Oh, yeah. So you want to take about 500 to 600 milligrams or less at a time because it's better for absorption. Oh my God, I can't talk. Because I know we didn't go over it in protein, but a lot of people think you need to eat protein at this all at once. But research has shown that it's better to spread it out between 20 to 40 grams of protein between every 3 to 4 hours. That way it's absorption. It gives your body a chance to take it in and help rebuild any muscle tears or support anything you were doing. If you were running, you're definitely going to need that protein immediately afterwards.
Yeah, so don't front load it. Don't eat all the protein or all the calcium at once because there's a point at which your body is not going to get as much benefit out of it. Okay, great. So for calcium, 500 to 600 milligrams or less at a time. Great.
And
Subject to what your doctor says, obviously. Okay, tell us more.
Yeah, and I can't stress it enough, but vitamin D is so important when it comes to calcium because that is what actually helps you absorb the calcium. Mm-hmm. So if your vitamin D levels are low, your calcium intake or your calcium absorption is going to suffer a little bit. But there is some good foods that you can choose. There's dairy or fortified plant milks. There's tofu, canned salmon with bones, which I know anything with bones in a can sucks because it sucks. Making salmon patties, I would just rather get a packet of it with no bones. And then there's things like kale and bok choy or some almonds and chia seeds that are all high in calcium as well. In case you don't really like seafood or tofu, you can still get it through some vegetables or nuts and seeds as well.
Great tips. All right. Van Gregory, you had your emoji hand up.
Yes. Is there any benefit or anything significant about consuming bone broth or just the bone marrow chewing or any of that stuff in general that you know of?
I haven't looked too much into it, but I'm considering it's bone, I would assume it's going to be high in calcium. Kind of like how we talked about the salmon with the salmon or canned salmon with bones, because you're getting that calcium from the bones inside of the fish. So I would assume it's going to be very similar, but I can also get back to you like with the current research on that. That way I can give you some accurate information.
Um, I mean, since it was brought up, yeah, that would be appreciated. But I can also take a further look into it myself.
It's a great idea. Yeah, Carrie, Van Gregory, of course, yes. Do all the research you would like. But Carrie, if you don't mind sharing anything that you might find for our other viewers, we'd love to share that too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about exercise and rehabilitation and how you can fuel both exercise and rehabilitation.
Yeah, so before exercise, which is typically around 1 to 3 hours prior, our goal is to provide enough energy and prevent fatigue without also making our stomach hurt. So we want to choose carbohydrate-rich foods with some protein, kind of like Greek yogurt and fruit, some oatmeal with milk, peanut butter toast, a banana and yogurt, just something nice and simple that's not going to upset our stomach, especially if we go running. We're not going to throw up 20 minutes into it because our stomach is having the bubble guts. Like, we don't need that. And also got to stay hydrated. That's very important. So there's like a few key facts we have to keep in mind before exercise. So before, we want to improve performance and reduce fatigue, which is going to allow for greater participation in rehabilitation and strengthening activities. And our carbohydrates are the body's preferred energy source for moderate to high intensity activity and physical therapy. So eating 1 to 3 hours before is also going to allow time for digestion and help maintain our energy levels over that period. And then a small amount of protein is going to help support that muscle protein synthesis and also reduce muscle breakdown. And then we have hydration again. I'm telling you, this thing is essential. Even mild dehydration can negatively affect strength, endurance, balance, and concentration. So you could even get brain fog just without enough water. And we want to avoid exercising completely fasted if recovery, muscle preservation, or rehabilitation. I'm telling you, too many eyes is a priority. And I'm guilty of it. I don't like eating as soon as I wake up. I can't stand it, but sometimes I have to force it because if not, I will go work out until like I'm about to pass out. But that's just me. I drink coffee. That's my energy in the morning.
Okay. Oh, good. Then maybe our purity coffee giveaway is not necessarily a bad idea.
Oh, I support coffee 100%.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Now, I did want to call out if we can, for a moment. I did see some questions in the chat, and I wanted to get to this. There was a question about if your sodium intake is low, some things you can do to improve that. And I saw a comment back saying that in addition to the usual electrolytes, sometimes it's a potassium issue that can cause your sodium to look low. Is that right, Carrie?
Sometimes, yeah. That's why I just recommend like the sports drinks. I mean, you can do zero sugar if you want, just depending on like if you're diabetic, definitely do not get the sugar one. Like zero sugar is the way to go. But those have all the electrolytes you need to bring back everything like the sodium, potassium. It has all the electrolytes you need to rehydrate yourself. But make sure to drink water as well, just because, I mean, Gatorade is only a little bit of water, but you want all the water.
Okay, great. Okay, tell us more about exercise.
Yeah, so after your exercise, I would say within 1 to 2 hours, our main goal is to pretty much rehydrate, repair, and build tissue while also restoring energy and supporting that healing and recovery. So we want to aim to 20 to 40 grams of protein after the activity, because this is also going to help support that muscle, bone, and wound repair, but it's also going to have that leucine to stimulate that muscle protein synthesis. And then we want our carbohydrates because we're going to want to restore our energy and our fuel. And then we want our fluids and electrolytes. We want to replace the sweat and support healing, but we also want to get back that sodium electrolytes in that water. And then we have our micronutrients like calcium, vitamin D, C, zinc, and iron that aid in bone and tissue recovery. So a few examples of, I guess, it did update up here. Yeah, we have like chicken, vegetables, and rice. There's salmon with sweet potatoes, whole grain toast with almond butter, or you can have a tuna salad sandwich on whole wheat bread. There's so many like combinations you can have. As long as you have pretty much a complete meal afterwards, you're going to be set. And then there's special considerations, especially for amputees. You're going to need a higher protein to help preserve that muscle and support that rehabilitation. If you have a broken bone, you want to emphasize protein, but also calcium and vitamin D to help support that bone health. And then for wounds or surgery, you want to prioritize your protein, vitamin C, zinc, and adequate calories. Excuse me. And then a few key facts after exercise. The protein is going to be the most important nutrient for recovery just because it is going to support the wound repair, muscle, and bone. And then we have our carbohydrates to restore energy and help replenish our glycogen storage. And then amputees and injured patients may also need higher protein intake during rehabilitation, just because if not, that is going to hinder your progress. And it's going to take a lot longer to heal. We don't want that. We want you to get healed up as soon as possible.
Great.
This is
Now, of course, sleep, which nobody ever gets enough of. It's also relevant to your nutrition. Tell us more, Carrie.
sleep is my favorite thing ever. I love it. But yeah, sleep is incredibly important for your recovery because it's going to help with the muscles. The sleep is going to support muscle repair and growth after exercise and rehabilitation. And during sleep, the body actually increases production of hormones involved in tissue repair and recovery. So poor sleep is going to help, or it's going to reduce your strength gains and help slower recovery. And nobody wants slow recovery time. It also helps with wound healing because sleep supports the immune function and tissue repair. Insufficient sleep may delay that healing process of surgical sites, wounds, or skin breakdown. And then we have energy and rehabilitation performance. Better sleep improves physical performance, concentration, your balance and coordination, and it's also going to give you more motivation to participate in therapy and exercise as well. A lot of people don't realize that sleep ties in with nutrition and your appetite as well. Because poor sleep is going to disrupt hunger and fullness signals. And people who sleep deprived are more likely going to eat more calories. They're going to crave that highly processed, high sugar, and high fat foods. And they're going to have more difficulty maintaining a healthy body weight because their intake of calories is going to be excessive compared to what they're putting out. And sleep is very important when it comes to amputees as well because it supports the rehabilitation process. Because you're learning to use prosthetic requires motor learning, balance, training, and coordination. And sleep actually helps consolidate those new movement patterns learned during physical therapy.
Interesting. You kind of commit it to long-term memory that way.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's like you learn in reality and in the dream world. So it's super cool.
And also, I see here helps manage your pain as well.
Yeah, poor sleep is actually associated with increased pain sensitivity. And I know that many amputees experience residual limb pain or that phantom limb pain, which can be worsened by inadequate sleep as well.
Mm-hmm. Plug quickly, y'all, as we're coming. Sorry, Van Gregory, one quick plug, and then we'll get to you, I promise. Y'all, we're going to be talking all next week on Wednesday with neuros. We're going to be talking about phantom limb pain. Okay, so make a mental note. We're going to come back to this topic next Wednesday. Go ahead, Van Gregory. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no problem, no cut off. And I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure others experience it. But sleep and sleep patterns is something that is a big issue with myself, and I don't know about other amputees. He's talking about how instrumental it is for us as far as the healing and stuff of that nature. So just wanted, there's a big correlation or any type of study that contributes to our sporadic sleep patterns to our actual healing process, which you just pretty much addressed and said that sleep is necessary for good healing. So I wonder that's probably why some of us have trouble with wounds and things healing properly or in a timely fashion. Sleep is almost non-existent. I know for me.
Great. I saw some other people nodding in agreement, Van Gregory, and we're going to look for some studies, some scientific studies that talk about that correlation as well. But it seems to me, Carrie, based on what you showed to us, the correlation between your sleep and your recovery would also affect then your wound recovery and your life as an amputee. Perfect timing, by the way. I saw a comment in here about someone who had a surgery recently and was also someone living with diabetes and had to be extra sensitive to their nutrition. That's our next topic. So tell us more about nutrition and diabetes.
Yeah. So with nutrition and diabetes, as I know the people who have diabetes, they know that people with diabetes are at a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. I'm so sorry. I cannot talk today, you guys. Not enough coffee today. So we want to focus on unsaturated fats like olive oil, nuts, fish, avocados. And you also want to limit excessive saturated and trans fats, but you also want to get that adequate fluid intake that supports the overall health and glucose regulation. And so why nutrition is going to matter for people, or why this matters for amputees. As you know, diabetes is the leading cause of lower limb amputation. So good nutrition is going to help support that wound healing, improve the blood glucose control, reduce risk of infection, while also supporting rehabilitation and prosthetic use. And it's also going to help you maintain that muscle mass and strength. So the key things you want to focus on is that blood sugar management. You want to choose high fiber carbohydrates and spread those carbohydrate intake throughout the day, kind of like how we do with protein, just spread it out. And then you want to definitely limit your sugar sweetened beverages and highly processed foods. Water is always going to be your best friend. And we want to prioritize our protein because, again, that's going to help maintain our muscle mass, support recovery and healing. It's also going to improve satiety and appetite control. Satiety is just another word for saying you're full, and appetite control, which is going to be good, especially for someone who is trying to maintain a healthy body weight. And oh, God, I just lost my train of thought. Someone said I was doing great, and it just made me not lose the train of thought.
Marianne jinxed you. You are doing great. Keep going.
Now we're going to prioritize our balanced meals. So like lean proteins, the whole grains, and high fiber carbohydrates. We want our fruits and vegetables and healthy fats. And we will have to look into some like research on how the different metabolic rates as well. Yeah. And we definitely want some fiber because fiber is going to help slow that glucose absorption. It's going to support blood sugar control, and it also promotes digestive and cardiovascular health.
Great points. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. I'm going to try my best. Okay, a little bit more on diabetes and diabetes-friendly eating. Okay, give us some ideas.
Yeah. So the goal is pretty much to steady our blood sugar so we can prevent large spikes and crashes in that blood glucose while also supporting energy, healing, and long-term health. So as we mentioned in like the fourth slide, we want to balance our meals. So we want to do that half plate of non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, spinach, and peppers, while also having a fourth of protein like our chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, or beans, and then a quarter of the plate of high fiber carbohydrates like brown rice, oats, whole grains, and starchy vegetables. And we want to make sure we're choosing smart carbohydrates. So we prefer whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. while also limiting sugary drinks, sweets, and refined grains like white bread or pastries. And then we want to pair that carbs with protein or fat just to slow down that absorption. And then our protein, as we said, is going to help control appetite and glucose. So we want to include protein at every meal to help reduce blood sugar spikes and help support muscle maintenance and recovery. And then hydration. I cannot stress hydration enough. It is the best. We want to avoid those sugar sweetened beverages. I know they say Diet Coke and all that, but water is literally the best thing for us. And then we have our healthy fats to support our metabolic health, kind of like olive oil, nuts, seeds, avocado, and fish. And we also want to limit those trans fats and excess saturated fats.
Okay. And let's talk about some myths.
Yeah. So for our myths, a lot of people assume carbs make you fat. That's not really true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, if you eat more than you expend, they call it calories in, calories out. So it only happens when you eat more calories than you're burning. So if you're just eating excessive amount of calories, but you're not actively exercising, yeah, of course you're going to put on some weight because you're not burning it. So you want whole food carbohydrates like fruits, oats, beans, and potatoes, which can all be part of a healthy diet. So we kind of want to avoid anything ultra high processed, high calorie foods because what do you call it? Like the fast food, I just consider it empty calories because you can eat as much as you want and it's just like not fulfilling. But if you were to go and eat like a high protein like rice bowl or something, you notice halfway through you're a lot more full than you were compared to eating like a Big Mac or I love Taco Bell, but Taco Bell, I feel like I'm not ever eating enough when I go there, and I don't want it because the sodium levels are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. No offense, Taco Bell, if you're watching, but this is not the topic for you.
Hey, if they're watching, bring back the mini quesadillas.
In the pita pockets. That's the thing. That's from the 90s, everyone. Okay. Also, detox diets and juices, juice cleanses, they're all over the internet. Also not necessary.
Nope, because your body is literally its own detox system. We have the liver, kidneys, the lungs, and digestive tract. Most of these like detox things lack any scientific evidence that they work.
Mm-hmm.
I just think detoxes are kind of like lazy. People think they're a shortcut, but none of it really works. It's all about that consistency and the balance. That's what really matters. There's no shortcuts in anything, not life, nutrition, exercise. There's no shortcuts here. And then they claim people with diabetes can't eat fruit, which is not true. Fruit does contain vitamins and minerals and fibers that can be part of a diabetes-friendly eating pattern. It's just eating excessive amounts, but we also want to make sure we're just eating things that are natural sugar, not artificially or anything added. So you can still eat fruit. You just have to be careful. Make sure you have your little blood glucose monitor with you handy.
Great point. Now we're coming to the end of our presentation. And thank you all for those of you who stuck around. We know this was an important topic, so we're giving you some bonus sessions. Before we do our giveaway, we want to make sure if you have a question and we can answer it now, put it in the chat or raise your emoji hand or just interrupt us. But Carrie, as we're looking for the questions, give us the key takeaways from our presentation today.
Yeah, so today we went over eating balanced meals and how to prioritize protein while also supporting healing with nutrient-rich foods. We went over fueling exercise appropriately before and after, and also how to manage blood sugar if you have diabetes, and the importance of prioritizing good sleep and focusing on long-term healthy habits. Man, I can't talk.
Great takeaways. I'm hearing kind of as we're talking about this, hydrate, protein, especially Lucy.
Much.
Okay. Talk to your healthcare provider. Sleep is important, right? A balanced diet. I think I love all the comments that we've seen in the chat with our folks joining us live here on Zoom. But I also like this last one that we just received. I have always been told the only way to be completely healthy is a balanced diet. Yeah, key takeaway here, right? Balanced diet. You don't want to cut anything out, but also talk to your healthcare provider. So great job. Yeah, thank you, Candy, for that so much. Everyone, let's do our giveaway for our healthy coffee. You even heard it, our nutritionist, she loves coffee too. Okay, we're gonna find out who's the giveaway winner for this, and then we'll talk. Brenda. Okay, congratulations, Brenda. Yay. Okay, so we will get this out to you, put this in the mail to you. Carrie, thank you for joining us today as week 2 of our hot topic session it goes along. Nutrition has been commonly asked for, and we covered a lot. And y'all, Carrie, she made this presentation herself. She spent a lot of time on it. We have a longer extended bonus version of it too, as well as some handouts that she has given us permission to share with all of you. If you are on our email list, you'll get this on Friday. If you're not, get on to amputee-aid.com, sign up for our newsletter or the contact me button, and you will get on our email list so that we can share all this information. We'll share the AARP article. If you're not a member of the AARP yet and you want to see what Jeff was talking about, we're going to look at that sleep session information, some other things about metabolic rates and getting tested. Lots of resources that we'll be sending out to all of you. If you're watching YouTube, look at the comments down below and you'll see that. Carrie, any final comments or thoughts that you would like to share with us?
I really appreciate y'all having me on. This was
my
first time ever being recorded. So that was cool.
First time ever presentation. Girl, good job. We could not tell.
Yeah, good job. Thank you.
Yeah, great job. And thank you for giving us all this detail, as well as having it clearly summarized, beautiful graphics, lots of helpful things here. Everybody's going to get a copy of this. And if you want to continue our hot topics discussion, join us next Wednesday. It's probably going to be another tiny desk season, okay? Tiny desk series. You'll join us and we will talk with Neuros about phantom limb pain. Before we say goodbye, Emily, is there anything that you wanted to say?
Yeah, so I had a little bit of an announcement. I'm going to be sharing a personal update. I accepted a new professional opportunity and going to be moving on from my role here at Amputee Aid. But it was really a pleasure to meet all of you and to be with you on your journey. I believe what we said was that, well, me and Jennifer, I went through and I made great notes on everybody, on where I'm working on where we're at, so that once they hire my replacement, they'll be able to just jump right in and continue the case management that I was doing with all the clients here.
And believe me, I have tried to say, no, stay, do not leave us. But we will have a replacement plan for Emily. And we're very grateful that Emily was with us for this time and shared her insight as a social worker. If any of you are clients of ours and if you've worked with Emily, hopefully that you enjoyed her time as well. And that you saw that she truly does care about the limb loss, limb difference community and each and every one of you. You'll get some information about how to follow up and who to contact. It's me. And I'm not ever going to be a replacement for Emily, but we'll do our best until we have her replacement. And I see lots of comments for you. So we're very happy. She's not going far. We're very happy that she's been with us. And we want to let you all know that. Okay. So that's what we'll say on that. Unless I can convince you to stay. I'll try. I did try several times. But turning back to you, Carrie, thank you for gifting us all of your time, and for UFC Gym for letting you give us your time and for sharing all this information and doing it so graciously. UFC Gyms donates their time to us. Okay, everyone. So that's a big deal. We're getting all of this knowledge to a nonprofit and all of you for free. But also, it's your first time. We could not tell. Do more presentations. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for giving us an extended time with Life Amplified here. Join us next Wednesday, July 15th, 2:00 Eastern time on Zoom and TikTok. Neuros, all things related to phantom limb pain. We're going to do another giveaway because it's part of our summer fun series. Take care, everyone. And remember, we can restore lives or reclaim hope together. Enjoy the rest of this week. Have a wonderful beginning of next week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Emily.